My name is Christian Puckett. This is Peacekeeper. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go, episode 8. Welcome, everyone. This is the Peacekeeper podcast, but you already know that because hopefully I will have put in that intro at the beginning. Everything is being optimized. It's a work in progress. One thing right off the bat that I'm super stoked about that viewers and listeners won't notice or even think twice about, but my podcast setup, right? So I have my camera. So I have a Sony a7S II, which is what is recording this right now. I also have a Sony a6400, which is kind of like a younger brother. It's like a newer Sony camera, but it's still like a younger brother to the a7S II. It's just more compact and it's more so like a smaller vlogging or travel camera. But this one I'm shooting on has been my main driver for like 4 or 5 years. I've shot like all the wedding videos and like the professional videos I shoot. I use this camera that I'm using today. I have been using my a6400, the smaller camera, for this podcast up until this episode because the a6400 doesn't have a time limit for recording. So I could shoot as long as I want until the battery runs out or until the SD card fills up. However, it has been that the big camera, the a7S II, has a 30-minute cap on its recording capabilities. Why? Don't ask me. It's like a dedicated video focused camera, so I don't know why they have that cap on the 30-minute recording limit. But your boy spent last night, I spent like an hour trying to just like, studying YouTube and going on different websites and downloading different applications. But I finally was able to download an app onto that camera in order to bypass that 30-minute restriction. So now I can actually use my really good camera to film these podcasts, and I don't have to get up every 30 minutes to reset the camera. I'm probably still going to get up at the 30-minute mark to check to make sure it's still recording because this is the first time I'm testing it. But I'll edit that out and you won't notice. So honestly, I'm super stoked for that. That's been a frustration of this camera ever since I got it, is that 30-minute cap. So now that that's gone, I'm stoked. I can finally use my main beast of a camera to shoot this podcast. Because let's be honest, this podcast, we take production seriously. We go for the highest quality possible. Yeah, my podcast setup is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually really happy with it. So yeah, I'm going to pretend like the garbage truck isn't literally right outside my window right now, taking out my trash. Actually, that's a recycling. Aesop loves the garbage trucks. Okay, where was I? I was talking about my podcast setup. Yeah, so I'm actually really happy with my setup right now. Got the nice camera finally. I've got a sweet Rode pod mic. I think this was $100. I got this boom arm, which was, I think it was like $70 from Best Buy. I got the Rode pod mix. No, what's it called? Rodecaster? Yeah, it's called the Rodecaster. So this was a $600 mixer a couple years ago, or a year ago or so. But they actually just came out within this last year with a second version, a Series 2. And so that really dropped the price down for this particular mixer. So I got this one for $300, which is pretty sweet. And it literally does everything that you need for a podcast. It has 4 channels. You can plug your computer into it. You can hook up your phone to it. You can connect a Bluetooth, like you can connect your phone via Bluetooth. It has 4 different headphone outputs, each with their own individual volume control. It can record straight to your computer. It can record straight to a SD card, which is what I use. So yeah, each podcast I just have, whether it's, if I have a guest on, then I've got the 2 cameras set up with 2 SD cards each. And then I have the Rodecaster with a SD card in. Hit record on all of them, do the podcast, shut them off, take out the SD cards, throw them into my computer, throw everything into Premiere Pro. What's nice about Premiere is that you can create a multi-camera sequence. And so you can just upload all the files into this one sequence, hit process or hit render or whatever it is, and it'll just automatically sync up all of the different files into one nicely compact file that you can just switch back and forth between camera shots depending on who's talking. But luckily for these solo episodes, it's just the camera, SD, the audio file, and then it takes like 5 seconds to sync it up, and then it makes the editing process a lot easier. You don't have to switch back and forth. Premiere's great. I also realized that I can whatever, people don't care. I realized that I can add captions. So Premiere Pro finally does auto captioning. So I've been relying on Instagram and I guess the shorts. So I've been making shorts. So, okay, there's a lot to get into on this podcast, which I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, all that to say, I can now add captions straight from Premiere, so I don't have to use any other apps except Premiere. Okay, so today there's a few different things I want to discuss. And I originally was going to have my sister Shalene on this podcast, but I got that text last night. You know how it goes. All good. I really, I like when people bail because then that means I get to just do it on my own. And more, I'm really enjoying just doing these solo vent episodes. It's therapeutic. I look forward to it each week, and it's just really satisfying. So I kind of want to talk about, first, like right off the bat, I want to talk about being stretched too thin. And I'm going to talk about it over the garbage trucks, or I'm going to try my best to do it over the garbage trucks. It's really hilarious just how I can do this podcast at any point on a given Thursday, and then right when I hit record, that's when they're all active right in front of my house. Yeah, so being stretched too thin. So my sister Shalene, she gave me a book for Christmas. It's called Essentialism. In fact, it's right over there. Let me just grab it. It's called Essentialism, and it's by Greg McCowan, something like that. And I started it, and it's great. I feel like I can just right off the bat, understand the concept that he's going for. Of course, I'll finish it, but it's just really good stuff right off the bat, and stuff that I feel like I've been needing to heed and hear, because I think I do have a tendency to, I guess right now, I have a tendency to pursue many different endeavors. And the way he puts it in the book is that you make a millimeter of progression in a million different ways, rather than a significant amount of progress in one specific direction. I hope I said that right. But yeah, instead of half-assing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different endeavors, I need to focus. I need to pause. I need to take a step back. I need to deliberately and intentionally decide what to invest in, because time is valuable, and there's all the time in the world, and then there's no time at all. And if you don't choose your life plan and life schedule, others will make that decision for you, whether that's your work or your friends or even your family, clients, like whatever it is. You have to plan out your life, and you have to decide what is important, or else others will decide for you. So I've been thinking and having conversations with Emily about where to invest my time, because I'm working full time. I want to have family time. I want to have rest time. I'm also trying to build a podcast. I'm also trying to start a coffee business. I'm also trying to, stay on top of my health and be active. And it feels like I don't even have time for friends right now. And just all those things it's not possible for me to fully delve into all of those endeavors and activities and give 100%. So something has to be subtracted. Oh, and then the other thing I want to add on top of all that is I'm planning on going back to school for some sort of computer science or programming degree or fast-tracked boot camp. So I can't logistically and realistically make that happen right now in this current season of life, just because we have a baby due in 7 days. So I think I'm going to start this summer. And so that's another goal that I need to put focus on. And so just kind of stepping back and taking a look at everything that I'm pursuing and what is most beneficial, what is the highest contributor to my potential future success. I think I've decided that coffee is probably not that. I think starting the coffee business has the least. Okay, so in order to do coffee and in order to create a successful and lucrative business, you really have to be all in, especially these days. You have to be on top of your social media marketing. You have to be on top of your branding. You have to be consistent. You've got to be posting pictures. It takes so much, even some of my friends that have coffee shops or own coffee businesses, like even Josh at Castleberry, in order to create a Castle coffee, that takes so much, first of all, like money. You have to have the financials to make that happen, but you also, like, your heart has to be all in. And I know Josh is all in on coffee and the downtown community. And I love coffee. I drink coffee every day. I enjoy coffee. I've enjoyed learning how to roast and kind of start up my own thing. But also, if I'm being completely honest with myself, it's sort of only been about trying to create something that's lucrative. My heart isn't like, I just love coffee and I love, the pursuit of all things coffee knowledge and origins and flavor profiles and all that stuff. Like, I've always just been like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I enjoy it, but there are people that you can just tell that that's their thing, and they just live, eat, and sleep coffee or whatever it is. And that's great. And I tested it out. And okay, so I'm not even saying that I'm giving up on it. I'm just pausing it because I am choosing to refocus on things that I deem more important and stuff that my heart is actually like in, and that I get satisfaction and enjoyment out of. And you know what that is? That's what you're listening to right now or watching right now. So for this season, until I can get classes going this summer, I'm going to go all in on YouTube and podcasting. And that alone, like, if you want to do something very well, I don't even have enough time in my schedule right now to give it as much as I could or should in order to create something. I don't know. Like, of course I want to create something successful, but I also have such a deep history with video making, YouTube, audio, like computer work. So I know, I kind of know it inside and out. And I really enjoy it. I like the process of creating weekly, even daily content. So that's my plan right now, is that I'm going to take this podcast seriously. I'm going to post once a week, guaranteed, on Thursdays. And I'm going to start embracing the shorts, and I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to have guests on, and we're going to get into some good stuff. We're going to have good conversations. And that's enough. Like, to do that well and to execute that well takes a lot of time and a lot of investment and a lot of research and education. And if I'm too distracted by trying to also create a coffee business, there's so much to the coffee world that I'm so unfamiliar with that I would just have to spend hours and hours and days and weeks researching and getting familiar with that whole world. And that's just going to take away time. Okay, so another thing I was thinking is that when I eventually change careers into something different, because that's the plan. That's the goal, is to, I would love to go through one of these coding boot camps or get a computer programming degree and move into that field. And once I do that, however far off into the future that is, this podcast is something that I can carry with me for the rest of my life. Like, I started this podcast to go on indefinitely, right? So this is something that's completely mine, and I can change it, I can evolve it and make it whatever I want to be. But it can evolve and it can adapt, and it will go forward into my future with me. Whereas I feel like if I got a real job in a better paying career field, I would probably just ditch the coffee stuff, because that's only me kind of trying to hustle and scramble right now. It's not something that I see myself doing for the rest of my life. But this is something that I could see myself building. I mean, maybe not for the rest of my life, but years and years and years and years, I could see myself doing this. So yeah, that's cool. Also, I just got up and checked to make sure the camera was still rolling, and we are indeed in the 30-minute area. So that's good news. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to refocus. I'm going to focus on this podcast more. I'm going to focus on making YouTube shorts. That's the other thing, is that I'm going to be completely honest. I fucking hate Instagram. I really do. I think I'm done with it. And I've said that before. I really have. But I just hate it. I hate the way I feel when I'm on Instagram. I hate the comparison or the comparative aspect to it. Whether I'm trying to feel that way or not, it's there. It's there on other social media platforms, but man, for whatever reason, I just feel blech on Instagram. So I might just be done with it. In all honesty, I don't care about it. I'm making these shorts, these 60-minute or 60-second or less vertical videos, and I've been throwing them up on YouTube. And I actually, for whatever reason, it's probably just me personally, I feel good about it. Like, it's satisfying. I go to try to post them on Instagram, and I just hate it. So whatever the reasoning is, I don't know what it is, but I'm giving up Instagram, and I'm going to really try to not get back on in 6 months like I've done multiple times in my past. I used to have like an Instagram account that was my main Instagram account that I had for years and years and years. Whatever, got like 1,000 or so followers. And then during the pandemic, I just fully deleted it. I permanently deleted it, not just disabled it, because I was like, I'm done with Instagram. Instagram sucks. And then, like, I think 6 months or a year later, I had created a second account way back in the day called Critch Pics, and it was kind of just like a throwaway account. But 6 months or so later, after I deleted my main account, I was like, let me just get back. I'll just like check it out, right? I'll just every once in a while check in on people. And then it got its claws into me, and then I was back. And then I posted on that up until now. And I deleted the app off my phone. See, I just, now that I'm talking about it, I'm just like, bleh, I don't like it. So I just want to be done with it. And for people that love it and make their living off of it and need it for their work or don't feel like badly when they're on it, dude, go for it, have fun, enjoy yourself. Just don't. I'm only doing it because I feel this I don't know if it's fully addicted to it. I used to probably definitely be very much addicted to it. Now I only hop on maybe once a day for a few minutes, scroll, and then I'm like, what the hell? I don't care about any of these. I don't care about these people. I don't care what you're doing in my life. And you're no, okay, let me take that back. I care about some people, I really do. But I don't care about this random person that I used to be somewhat acquaintances with and, what they're listening to on Spot. It's just filling up my own brain space with, again, it's like what we were talking about earlier. If I don't plan on how I spend my time on my phone, then Instagram is going to decide what I'm looking at when I'm scrolling through. Yeah, it's very similar. You have to be very intentional and deliberate with how you spend your phone time, or else these freaking massive companies that are all driven by profits and ad revenue and screen eyeball time, they're gonna figure out a way to get you to stay on their platform. And so that's how I feel with Instagram. I just feel like it used to be something that was pure and creative and innovative and fun and artistic for me. And now it just seems like I'm being manipulated. Like my time is being stolen from me. I'm being sold to. And a lot of people have just turned their Instagrams into their own, into business accounts. And that's fine because we all got to make money. But it's kind of just all about money now. And it's all about ads and being sold products. And it's just like, why? Okay, everybody's trying to promote their stuff and that's cool. But my time and my eyeballs are valuable. And so I'm choosing, again, hopefully you don't find me 6 months later on my third account, just sitting in the corner mindlessly scrolling. No, I never mindlessly scroll, but even just those few minutes a day, it's like, if I'm going to waste time, I would rather waste time on something that I feel better about afterwards. So that's my Instagram rant. YouTube is cooler than Instagram. I mean, pick your poison. Do you want Google selling you ads, or do you want Facebook/Meta selling you ads? Whatever. I like YouTube. So I'm gonna be posting shorts on my YouTube channel, and I'm not gonna promote my stuff on Instagram anymore. Screw it. I don't see a good return on my investment over there. All right, I'm going to move on to the next topic because I feel like I've been talking about that for a long time. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about mental health and my own personal mental well-being and mental health. Mental health is something that I did not grow up thinking about or acknowledging in any capacity. It wasn't until probably I was 23 or 24, so probably 3 or 4 years ago, that I started realizing the importance of it. And I really think that this is a generational phenomenon. I don't think our parents' generation thought twice about it, probably because they didn't need to. But we're living in a very different world. It's a completely different world out there now. We've got the internet. We've got phones in our pocket. I've got a mic in front of my face and a camera recording me. Look in any direction and you just see infinite opinions and infinite lifestyles and different life paths and journeys and perspectives, and everybody's, it can all be anonymous and everybody's got their own opinion on how you spend your time, what you should be consuming, what religion you should be a part of, your political choices, what you should care about, what you shouldn't care about. And it can wear on a young person's brain. There's too many options, too many choices. There's decision fatigue in so many different aspects of life. And so that's why there's a lot of pharmaceutical interventions, I would say, for the masses. Luckily, I am not on any sort of medication. That's great. I know a lot of people my age are, or are striving to be, or are self-medicating. I probably self-medicate in my own ways, if I'm being honest. So I just wanted to talk about a few things that I do in my everyday routine and daily habits that I've established in order to combat bad mental health. Because I used to have really terrible mental health. I used to be pretty situationally depressed. I didn't have a good outlook on life. I wasn't, happy. I wasn't fulfilled. Not to say that I've arrived at this, perfect point of mental clarity and well-being, but I am so much better than I used to be. And so, I just want to talk about a few different things that I do regularly that I believe really help me, and I believe can help a lot of people. And it's all just very, very fundamental and basic stuff. But sometimes people miss the basics and need reminders. So one thing that I have really pushed to prioritize in my routine is getting good quality scheduled sleep. And I know that's a big eye roll for some people my age or younger than me or older than me. But it is our bodies. Okay, so think about the way we would live lives. Like we would live our lives as hunter-gatherers or like how our ancestors, how they slept, right? So they would probably be way more in tune with the rise and fall of the sun than we are today. And so whenever the sun went down, that was sort of everybody's cue, but not even cue, but there's like a biological clock that shuts down when the sun goes down, and that's when you rest, and that's when you sleep. And then when the sun comes up, that's when everybody wakes up. That's when the birds start chirping. That's when the chickens start cockadoodle doing or whatever. And so, yeah, we are supposed to rise and fall with the sun, and that is called the circadian rhythm. And we all have a circadian rhythm, but you can fight it, and you can, manipulate your schedule to, stay up super late and have all the lights on and go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m. and then sleep in until 10 or 11 a.m. You can do that, but that's not healthy. Like, that is not the optimum way to do sleep. It works, but it's not the best. And so I've really prioritized and also just given in. I adjusted my work schedule, so now I'm working these set morning schedules, and that was a big help in just having mental sanity, because I was going from opening, closing, waking up super early to do the cash office, and then working to mid, and then opening, and then closing. And, at that time we were, I wouldn't get out until 10:30, 11 at night. And then sometimes you got to be back at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you have to wake up at 4 in the morning to do the cash. So it was all over the place. And I couldn't establish a good, consistent rhythm with my sleep, especially with a newborn. That's a whole other wrench into the equation. But for the most part, my dad's calling. I'll tell you what, Dad, I'm going to call you back in a few minutes. Where was I? Okay. So yeah, anyway, rise and fall with the sun to the best of your ability. If you can go to bed at a consistent time every single night, or okay, not even every single night, 75 to 80% of the time is what I've heard of a percentage you should aim for. Prioritize sleep. I get up every single morning around 5, somewhere between 4:30 to 5:30. And I'm, for the most part, just up at that time because I'm in bed at, honestly, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Sometimes earlier. So just really, like, all of the most important bodily functions and repairing and system updating and all that shit goes on while we sleep. It's very important to prioritize sleep. Again, this is elementary and rudimentary knowledge, but some people just, whatever. I don't even know who I'm talking to, but prioritize your own sleep. It'll help your brain. Okay, the other thing I do is I try to the best of my ability and so this is a big Andrew Huberman protocol, as he says it. To the best of your ability, as soon as you can, first thing in the morning, get sun exposure. Get sunlight in your eyes. It starts all of these biological circadian systems. I don't know what it is. Like, it starts hormones, and it kicks into gear all these biological, I don't even know what they are, right? Who am I? I'm not a biologist or a scientist, but I can listen to smart people, and when they say to do stuff, I can see the value there. So whatever it does, it kicks in some sort of system. I think it starts the cortisol spike. And I know cortisol doesn't sound good, but it also is a vital, I believe it's a hormone for like everyday energy production and use. So yeah, get sunlight exposure on your skin, get it in your eyes. Of course, don't look directly at the sun, but look up at the sky at least. And then if you can, try to do something physical every single day. I mean, aim for 5 to 6 days a week. So at work, I'm getting like a full on, maybe not an 8-hour workout, but a really decent. I'm very, very physically active at work. So that's great because that is 5 days a week right off the bat. And then sometimes I'll go on walks afterwards or runs. And then on my days off, Emily and I will typically go on we're going to go on a really long bosky walk after I do this podcast. Anyway, simple stuff, right? Sleep, move, drink water, eat good food, eliminate toxins, right? Don't eat highly processed, quick carbs. Try to eat more whole. I cook all my food, but whole foods, whole fruits and vegetables. Eat really good, high quality meats and proteins. Get some good healthy fats in. Watch what you consume, like media wise. So don't just be always mindlessly scrolling. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be talking and then I realize I don't know who or what, like who I'm talking to or what I'm talking about. Whatever. I'm still a noob, right? I'm still new at this. I'm still trying to find my voice. I just wanted to talk a little bit about mental health because I was listening to this Anchor, the podcast platform that I host this podcast from, had a tips for podcasting in 2023. And they said, Gen Z is about, I think the percentage was like 50 to 70% of podcast listeners these days. And so really, if you can try to target that demographic, that's like a huge demographic. And things that Gen Z and millennials too, but especially Gen Z, things that they care about is like topics are mental health, and that was the main one that stuck out to me. There was a couple other ones, like I think they were just like being like as honest as you can and being vulnerable and stuff like that, which I think I am. But mental health was like a top topic and major point that Gen Z cares about. So you better believe that the title of this podcast is going to be Mental Health Tips 2023. All right. Emily's texting me and calling me. I think she's ready to. She's patiently standing at the door, waiting to come back inside. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm going to end the podcast. Thanks for listening. Yeah, we'll probably have our baby this week, in all honesty. So we'll see about next week, but I'll try my best. All right, everybody, have a good day. Treat yourself. Peace.